So I just wanted to show you guys a repair I did off stream. Um, I think this can help a lot of people. There's really nothing on YouTube that I could see for this, and yet it's very important for people to know how it's doable. I was beginning to think it's not possible. Alright, so I'm just going to show you exactly what I did. Okay. So, my headset wire ripped, or I cut into it, and so I had to repair it. And here was my first repair attempt, which failed. So I just cut the two ends off on the top and bottom and just started over. What I ended up doing is just peeling back a good like 1 inch on each side. First comes the blue. So let me get a pointer, use my pen. First comes the blue wire, or the blue insulation, which is cloth for this headset. And then comes a white insulative wrap. Now inside the white will be a white rope, which I just cut free. I didn't want to bother with it. It was already too complex in here. But what you'll see is basically 3 distinct wires. It looks like 3, but it's more complex. So each wire will be wrapped with and how do I say this? With grounding wire, which is very fine. And I mean, all 3 are going to be wrapped with this. So first, I think it does help if you just cut it completely clean in half and strip away the 2 sides. That's what I did, and I had success with that. And then cut back the white and the blue plenty to give a good 1 full inch of wire showing. You'll have 3 wires. Just cut away the white rope, because that's just for strength, and you're going to get strength later on by hot gluing everything into a big bulge of hot glue. I think that's the best way. And then you could wrap the hot glue with electrical tape or even heat shrink. But I think the hot glue gives it really great strength and structure. So anyways, I'm just going to hot glue it and then wrap it with a special electrical tape, which I always use, which is made of nitrile rubber from a rubber glove and adhesive transfer tape, which I make myself, and then you could just wrap it all with this. But that's besides the point. So anyways, for the actual repair, by the way, I'm using the headset that I just repaired, and it's working great. So anyways, there's 3 wires. You need to expose each of the 3, and then get the white cut back to give a full inch of each of the 3. Now, each wire will have a colored ground wire wrapped around it as a series of threads. So maybe 100 fine threads of wire will be wrapped around an interior wire, which will transfer the data. So there will be a white wire, a black wire, and a red wire. And this is for a gaming headset. It might be different on some devices, but that will be the interior wire within the grounding wire wrapper. So the interior wire will be just wound up fine threaded wire. It'll be twisted up, and it will be coated in a colored lacquer. So there will be a red lacquer, a white lacquer, and a black lacquer coated, twisted up, fine stranded wire. And then you're going to just unwind the grounding wire from each of those colored wires and then twist those up and treat them as a separate wire, because in fact they are a separate wire. They're a ground wire, and they need to have electrical conductivity along the length of the cord in order to provide better audio quality by protecting the data wires from interference. Otherwise you'll get static and stuff. So you do want to twist those together, the two sides, and treat them like they're a separate wire. That's why you see 6 total wires here. There are 6 because we twisted up the main wires, red to red, black to black, and white to white, and we twisted up the ground wires, green to green, looks like blue to blue, and copper to copper. Now it's not actual copper, it's copper lacquer. Copper colored lacquer is the ground wire that. So copper colored lacquer wire was the ground wire shielding my white lacquer coated wire. Blue lacquer coated ground wire protected the black lacquer coated wire, and green lacquer coated wire protected the red lacquer coated wire. So every single wire group, the ground wires were individually lacquer coated. Each and every strand of wire was lacquer coated. But the central wires, the red, black, and white, were lacquer coated after being twisted into a solid wire of strands, twisted real tight, then lacquer coated on just the outside. So anyways, once you expose all of them, organize them, spread them out, the next step is to take a lighter and light them on fire. So I literally just went like this, and I lit it on fire, let it burn for about like 3/4 of a second, then blow it out. You'll see the flame travel along the wire because it actually starts on fire. It's lacquer. It's highly flammable. You'll see the flames start traveling along the wire, and you'll blow it out as soon as it burns away enough of that lacquer coating to expose some raw copper. Now after that, you can see my fingers are quite dirty. You just take your fingernails and just start scraping away that burning stuff, and then you could do it a couple more times and just scrape, 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 maybe 30 or 40 times just between your nails. Just nail to nail, stick your nails together on the wire and pull. Not too hard because it is sensitive, but just do like that. Pull, 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 and that will get rid of some of that soot, exposing a decent amount of bare copper. And that's what you want for conductivity, bare copper. So once I did that on all of them, I twisted them all together according to their various colors. So blue to blue, green to green, red to red, white to white, copper to copper, black to black. You'll have 6 total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total wires sticking up. And it helps to put a helping hand here and just carefully separate them and do them one at a time. And all this is with the mic unplugged, of course. And then once you get them all twisted together, you can plug in the mic and test it. It should be working. Now mine didn't work right away. It was missing like the right ear and the microphone wasn't working. But then, after having twisted them all together and having some issues, I then took my soldering iron. I put on a little bit of flux onto each one that was already twisted. This is Kester 186 no clean flux. I squeezed just a little bit onto each pair, so a little bit here, and I took my soldering iron and I got some solder on it, and then I just went over it, and I saw the smoke coming up off here, and I think that more than anything just kind of cleaned it even more, got rid of more of the soot. And what little solder did get sucked in by the flux connected here and there exposed copper wire. Since it wasn't properly cleaned very well, any connections where the solder could connect one wire to the next cleanly would help a lot. And you don't need much because this is very fine wire, not a lot of electrics passing through here, so any connection at all would help a lot. And so I just kept doing that on each of them, just adding some solder. You can see this one, well, you can inspect them. Some of them I managed to get a little bead of solder on, some not so much. But but suddenly everything got really clear, and you can see, especially with the white one, just by pinching my fingers on it, the audio would get really clear, and if I let go, it would get unclear, and that's because it didn't have very good electrical conductivity. So I just kept playing with it, twisting it a little better, cleaning it a little more, adding a little bit more solder, and all this I'm getting instant feedback as to how well the repair is going because I'm listening. And eventually, after playing with it a lot, everything got really crisp and clear, and I was able to test the mic and test the audio on both ears, and everything was working perfectly. From there, I took some clear nail polish and I started lacquer coating all of them. I chose clear nail polish because, I mean, basically they were lacquer coated to begin with. Why not stick to the same type of strategy and let it harden? And that will also help because not a whole lot of solder actually took because of the sootiness and stuff. It wasn't really good. So this kind of glues the twisted wire together, really keeping it all tight and preventing it from coming undone later. That's the theory. And then from there, it's just going to be a matter of adding maybe, this is my plan, I'm going to add maybe 3 coats of lacquer to each of the wires. Everything's working right now, I just need to make sure it's solid and not going to screw up anymore. So a few coats to each one, and then I'm going to probably go ahead and hot glue each one very carefully, just coating everything on each one, and then just start bending one at a time to be parallel or flush with the main cord. So I'll just bend them that way and then hot glue everything, and I'll eventually just form them all so that they're not just sticking out wild like this. I'll just bend them all into place and just create a big ball of hot glue, just protecting and strengthening the whole area. And then after that, I'm just going to have a knot of hot glue like that thick. I'm going to just wrap it in this nitrile rubber tape, and it'll look clean. It'll just be like a big bulge, but the main thing is the expensive headset will have been saved, and I have confidence in the repair because I can listen to it the whole time. So if I ever screw anything up during the solidification of everything steps, I'll know it. I already put 1 coat of lacquer. I'm just going to keep coating it. I just am paranoid. I want to make sure I get it all real good. Like I said, I think 3 coats will be ideal. But yeah, so that's the procedure. A lot of times I show everything and people complain that I don't show the finished product or whatever. Well, this time you guys are seeing a successful repair already before I even start the video, so I guess a lot of you should like that. I mean, this is working now, and now it's just a matter of really protecting with plenty of lacquer and hot glue and all that fun stuff. Now you could also maybe just like, well, I don't know. I was gonna say electrical tape. You could fold down one wire, electrical tape it, fold down another, electrical tape it. You could do it that way. But I'm choosing to coat everything from the base up in lacquer because I don't want any shorts, any short circuits. So all the way down, I'm getting all in there real good. And I'm being real careful not to short anything. And just making sure everything's got nice thick coat because, yeah, pretty much as long as you've got electrical conductivity, which I've established, then the next step to guarantee success is insulate very well with lacquer. You can't really use electrical tape or anything because it's so fine and tiny in here. Lacquer is what they used originally to make the wire. Why not use that for the repair? It's amazing how just a sharp object jabbing the cord, just one little poke and it ruined my headset, but we fixed it. So cool. And again, just start by cutting clean on two ends, and then you can begin the repair inside. This was my repair attempt that failed. But yeah, it's working out, and I'm very relieved because I thought I was going to lose my headset for sure. Liquid electric tape, I have that. But it goes on very gloopy and thick. Nothing near as fine. Plus, then you can't see what colors or what. It's just a mess to deal with that. I think that using clear nail polish, it goes on so much finer and cleaner, and it's not going to build up a big bulk of mass. But yeah, and it doesn't have any strength at all. That's why I think hot glue will be better for just building up the strength aspect. I did not really like my experience with liquid electric tape. I think it's pretty lousy stuff. I don't think I would prefer to even use that at all if I can avoid it. I gotta keep some music or something playing in the background, I feel. Well, I know, I'll just make sure I can hear my voice in the background. Right click on speakers, levels, microphone, testing. Okay, now I can hear my own voice. I have it set at 16%. So that just verifies that the headphones are working as long as I can hear myself in both ears. I'm going to actually leave the microphone so I hear myself, just so I can make sure everything's still working as I begin putting everything like back together. Okay, so well, actually, I just had an idea. I could use shrink wrap at this point. I could. Yeah, shrink wrap would be great, I think, here at this point. I'm still glad I coated it with the clear lacquer, because the shrink wrap won't get all the way down to the base. There's no telling how much of the base was exposed during the lighted on fire stage. Okay, I'm gonna want, well, this has been very nerve-wracking, the whole experience. Oh my gosh. It started to activate the glue on one of the other ones. I think it would be better to coat all of them in the shrink wrap right off the bat and then just blow them all at once. Testing. Cool. Shrink wrap's kind of being held in place by the slightly still tacky nail polish. It's kind of nice. Okay. Testing. Alright. Seems to be going okay still. Supposing you guys still hear me, I guess. Hold on, let me just make sure. Seems good. Yeah, my audio seems fine. Alright, this is just nerve-wracking. I already got a lot of time into this repair here. So now, I think we're good to go for the hot gluing phase. Or, yeah, I still definitely want to hot glue. It's only got the strength of the wires holding one another, which is horrendously bad, strength-wise. Yeah, I've seen Louis Rossman. I don't know, I just really feel like these hot glue blobs just give so much support to the joint. Step 1 is good conductivity, good connections on the wires. Step 2, good insulation for the individual wires. Step 3, support the heck out of the whole joint. And that's what I think hot glue does the best. It'll be hard, it won't bend in that area. Something else, just looks kind of crazy to me, but I mean, how did I go? You liar. That was my thought. Oh, oh no. So, I think that's about it. Kind of looks ridiculous, but you know, I'll wrap it in some aluminum tape. I think that should help to prevent interference too. Okay, so we got an aluminum sausage here as a final product. There we go. It's like a Faraday cage. And that's my repair. I think it'll be super solid. I think we nailed it. Cool. I'm scared it's not gonna work for some reason. Who knows, man? We'll have to do a follow-up in like 3 months or 6 months. and I'll let you guys know, but I feel like I should part of me feels like I should order another headset in case it doesn't work, so I don't have to wait. But I got a backup headset. It's just kind of on the fritz though. But it can work as a headset I use while I wait for a new headset if this headset fails. Yeah, I think we did it. It's a miracle we did it, I think. Oh, this is my favorite headset ever that I've ever owned. And the idea of losing it so fast, not cool.